Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome, welcome, welcome to episode 4 of Redeeming the Time. I'm your host, Redeemed, and tonight we have a very special guest, my friend, and hopefully yours, Pico 401. We just call him Pico. I don't even know what the 401 is about. We're going to ask him. We'll find out. Maybe just need a number throw in the end, kind of like me. But I hope you all are well on this fine Thursday evening. Really looking forward to this chat. Play with Pico a lot. I've known him for about a little over a year now, so I'm looking forward to just having this in-depth conversation with him and hopefully diving a little deeper. So without further ado, let me bring him in and give a warm welcome to our friend Pico. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for being here tonight. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here.
So, going off your first question, you were like, why Pico? And so I saw the name Pico back in, there used to be something called AOL Instant Messenger, or known as AIM for short.
You're old.
And I needed to make a account for AIM. And so I typed in Pico because I was looking through a back of a Latin textbook. And Pico, if you'll know, means like small quantity. And it's like an engineering term, like really small, like 1/trillionth of a picosecond.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just something you put on your chips.
Yeah, so it's something that you go like really fast. That's Pico de Gallo. And I kind of use that to play around with. And someone took it already. Someone also took the name Pico as a streamer. And so I used my AIM, which is just Pico 401. And then that followed me into Xbox and Steam and basically any social media account that I have, because it has nothing to do with my name at all. Like I'm looking over and I have an I, and that's about it in my real name.
Right.
And
right.
so, and an O, like if I use my entire full name. So it's just kind of something that just came out. And I was like, oh.
Hey, that works. Well, before we hop into your background or any of that, I'm going to show chat a quick clip just to, if they're not familiar with you, they can kind of get a little bit of your personality through this clip. And if they are familiar, they can have a good laugh because they know it always goes like this.
We always thought that would be true.
Wait, you didn't win the lottery? I'm not sure. Are you in Hawaii? Hey, by the way, can one of you? Never mind. Goodness gracious, guys! Let me just chill and talk to my friends. The entire team was just wanting to kill me. Oh goodness! And I can hear Skittles, who was goes Skills Kings, who has another username on Fortnite, like talking to me, and it's like, you didn't win the lottery. He's like, no, I'm not in Hawaii. I'm like, well, that's true. I would like to be in Hawaii too if I won the lottery.
So I love that clip because you're having a good time. You're talking to your friends as you're squad wiping an entire team. You're like, it's nothing. You're just taking out 3 people by yourself while you're having a casual chat about, nothing basically.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things when you play video games. I feel like when you go on Twitch or any media like platform, like there's like a time and place for stuff. And when you're on Twitch, the most important thing is talking to your chat and making sure you're engaged and you are not doing like side stuff. And right now I'm trying to be engaged here, but my dog is like, you should be engaged with me because I'm wearing a cone of shame.
Okay, introduce your dog to us.
So I have a dog named Clifford, who is usually right here by. He's turning 8 actually in 14 days. He's turning 8 years old.
Oh, we lost your mic. There you go. No, not yet. Oh, bear with us. Just a couple little technical difficulties.
Okay, we're back.
There we go. Yep, we're back.
So kind of one thing that's been a challenge for me streaming is I actually use a MacBook Pro, or sorry, MacBook Air, not even a Pro. And so there's no USB connectors in MacBooks anymore. They got rid of those in the previous versions. And so I have a little like janky thing that plugs into the power supply, which I use. So sometimes if I bump my computer a little too much, it disconnects everything. So like my microphone would die. And if I did that and I was actually broadcasting, that would also die. And so some of those little issues come up.
Yeah. Well, I always say, if you're not having technical difficulties, are you even really streaming?
That is also very true in that statement.
All right. So like I said before, thank you for taking the time to be here tonight. But we just want to kind of get to know you a little better. So, can you just give us a little bit of your background, anything you want to share, and we'll start there.
Yeah, so I grew up originally in Texas, and I was there
Okay.
for most of my life. I spent a few years in California when I was really young, like elementary school. But I spent the majority of my life in Texas. Graduated from a Texas institution, like college, and started working. During that time, like my activities were usually a lot of athletics. Like I was very big into athletics. I also did Boy Scouts for a while, and even became an Eagle Scout. When I say for a while, for a long
Nice.
time.
Nice. Yeah.
It became a family trend where my dad, both my brothers were all Eagle Scouts too. So everyone just kind of got it. And it's just like, oh, when are you going to get it? Not if you're going to get it. And then I also started playing video games. It started off with I guess I was thinking about this, and I was like an N64, but it probably was Pokemon originally on the Game Boy Color. And so I had a
Okay.
nice little back in the then they had like basically you had two options. You had purple or blue Game Boy Colors. And I was trying to think, and it also back then the Game Boys didn't even have like a backlight. And so if you wanted to play at night, you had to plug in
Get
a
the little-
light and hold the flashlight
Yes.
down,
Yeah.
and you would have to then watch your Game Boy and play it that way, which is always kind of entertaining to do. And so I remember playing like, I think it was Pokemon was like the first game I actually played and beat all the way through a few
Nice.
times, including game like the 151 because you could get Missing No in there. And I kind of did the Pokemon franchise. And even when I started streaming, I used to only do Pokemon. I did Pokemon Sword and Shield for the longest time, and kind of moved into Fortnite due to a bet where I was like, hey, we get this amount of followers, I'll do it. And I think it was like 1,000 or something like that. And that's kind of what we did for that celebration.
Nice.
Yep. And now I work in software as a quality engineer. So basically, my job is a professional nitpicker. I look at bad stuff and say, this is how we should fix it.
Nice. So you kind of took me back there. You were talking about your first video game system was actually the Game Boy, and I'm obviously a lot older than you, so I go way back. I remember playing Pong, the
goodness.
original like video game. But it was funny you were talking about. I remember the Game Boys, and you were saying like you had to have every accessory. Didn't they have like the screen that would like magnify, like you could put over top of the screen to make it bigger so you could see it, and then they had the light, and you could end up making that thing look crazy with all like the different accessories they had for it.
I saw a picture a few months ago of a guy walking. There was also the battery pack case where you could have all the batteries in there, and you could like open it up and go, spend a couple hours, playing extra because you could charge it in. Then there's the rechargeable battery sections, and yeah, there's so many things for the, Mikey right there, where it's just, there's just millions of stuff you could do.
Yeah, I think I've seen a meme where they had like every attachment on it. It looked like a transformer or something ridiculous.
Yeah. And now like we have gaming systems like this, which has everything on the Game Boy plus more.
Yeah. So, rocking the Switch. We were watching you play the new Zelda last night.
Yep, Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom.
And I've been pretty excited for that game. It's been one of my Zelda franchise has been one of my favorite franchises because my first console game I beat fully was either GoldenEye or Ocarina of Time.
Can we just take a minute to acknowledge that all the shooting games we play now owe their life to GoldenEye? Because that was the GOAT, the original. And if you were born after that time, you really missed it. I mean, you can't go back and play it now. It looks terrible. But back then, that was the most exciting game to play.
Yeah. And I remember that, Mikey. Like, I also remember when Beanie Babies were a craze back in the 90s. And, I'm pretty sure I have a box somewhere over there that's full of Beanie Babies, which is my life investment that, I bought them for about, probably spent a couple $100, and they're probably worth now $50.
Right. Yeah. So, that sounds about right.
They're going to get so old, they're going to be retro. When they're retro, they're going to be cool. And then I'm going to make my million. That's been my game plan.
So you were talking about, your first gaming experiences and getting into it. Do you remember that feeling of like what it was like to start playing and beating your first game all the way through? And do you think that feeling stays with you even as you've been playing many years now?
I think it kind of changes. Like there's certain games that I beat really quick, like the Harry Potter game. Recently, I beat in I think about 40 hours, and I'm at 98% completion. And for me,
Wow.
like that game, I was like, oh, this is fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the storyline. But like, I feel like there's certain games where I get more happiness versus impact. Like, I'm not sure. Maybe it's just because I like the Zelda franchise more. And
Mhm.
so, like, when I beat Breath of the Wild the first time, I did a speed run and I got pretty fast. But I also figured out how you could skip all the bosses. And I was like, oh, this is fun. I beat the game, but like, I didn't get to enjoy it.
Right.
And so now
Yeah.
for me, it's more about enjoying games and completion instead of completion.
Yeah, so taking your time, even doing the little side quest and everything,
Yeah.
instead of just trying to get to the end really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. So you're gaming, and then what is your first introduction to streaming? Like, what was your first exposure to seeing someone stream and even realizing that it was a thing?
So a few things. One is one of my wife's friends is actually a YouTube partner, and I'm drawing a blank on his name. It's Peanut Butter Gamer, and like so, my wife grew up with this person, and so my first introduction was probably, 11 years ago, even more. Probably it's 2009, 2010. I went bowling with him and some of her friends. I was like, "So what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm making really funny videos." I'm like, "Good luck. You know, you're never going to make a living." He's not
Right.
making a living doing that. So, and like, it was kind of fun to see like his community and everything that was around there. But I really never watched Twitch. I don't even know when I built my Twitch. Probably recently, pretty soon. Sorry, my dog is being very attention driving.
It's
Uh,
okay.
and I started in 2020. I was like, hey, I want to try something new every month. And this was probably around June when I started like, okay, let me do something. And so I picked up like learning a little bit of the guitar. Was very bad and gave up. And my goal is after every month I would do it, and then I would determine at the end of the month whether or not I would stop doing it.
Okay.
And you know, and then I took a college class, like chemistry class, on winemaking in July. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to try streaming in August. And so I knew a couple of friends I met when I played a game called Ark Survival, and one of them was a streamer. And I was like, hey, I'm just going to go watch. And she and another guy like helped kind of get me ready, set up. And so I started August 1st or 2nd streaming, wherever that Monday was. And my first stream, we got everything set up. I got the capture card, I got everything ready, and my mic didn't work. And I did not know about that for the entire stream. And I had a friend named Yuta who didn't even tell me everything failed and blew up in my face. And and so that's kind of when I started. And so we played, and then I worked that night to get the mic working because you could hear the game volume, you just couldn't hear me talking.
Right.
And I also made a post on a website called Imgur, IMGUR, which is kind of just a picture sharing website. And I kind of made a meme. I was like, hey, I'm starting to stream. And I got a few followers that way. And then I made a second follow-up meme like the next day saying, I had a really fun time streaming, did an hour. And then like, is that, socially awesome penguin, socially awkward penguin. And then like the top was awesome. And the bottom was like, forgot to turn on my mic. And I woke up I did that like that night. And I woke up the next morning and I went from 20 followers to 180 overnight.
Oh wow, that's
Due
huge.
to the ability just to make fun of myself. And back then during 2020, Twitch was growing a lot. And Twitch actually, I think on average was having 12 partners a day being created for like 5 months straight. Like every day, 12 new streamers become partners. And so me and a couple friends got together, and friends are people I met through the Twitch community. And we started kind of being mods to each other, admins. And we kind of just drove and worked and, started growing together. And during that time, like we were, living off of the highs of Twitch, where everything was going. And that's just kind of everything that, got me into the beginning of this streaming journey. And then it was just kind of trying to do random stuff. We got, we had a nice little Twitch announcement in like October. So August, September, October, 2 months into it, where like, I was like, hey, by the way, I'm about to be a dad in 6 months, And so it's kind of like, that, and that kind of built a different little community around.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you experienced some really early growth. I don't think I had 150 followers until maybe late last year. So I still only have like 200. And not only, I think that's really cool if 5 people watch me or one person watches me, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's like the experience that most people have. So that's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
And it's funny that your first stream was muted because it's just like a foreshadowing. No matter what you do, like how professional you are, there's always gonna be something that's gonna be a little messed
Yeah.
up or so. So it sounds like when you started, you kind of surrounded yourself with some good people, and you guys helped each other out. And I don't know if that's every streamer's experience. Can you talk a little bit about like was that a forethought or was that just something that kind of happened organically?
It's something that happens organically. You're going to find people that one of the big things I always talk about is you have to find your community. And one of the hard things about streaming is your community changes all the time. And so the goal is to either A, find real life people that you know and that can hang out with you, or B, just be expecting your community to always be changing. Like I'm pretty sure Mythman Mikey, who's just in chat, like he started following me like 2 years ago, and then I didn't see him for like 7 months. And then he came back and now he's active again, which is awesome. And I'm really glad he came back. But like it's just that kind of that mindset where like you can go be really close to someone, but like they may stop streaming for whatever reason, whether or not it's family, whether it's being busy, or so a lot of people get burned out because they go into streaming looking for big numbers, and I need 100 subs, I need 1,000, this, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this, and you're not going to get it. 99.9% of the time, most people stream with one viewer, and so like finding that support group that actually supports you for being you. It was just one of those things that is really important, and building that community and being happy with your community. Like looking over a lot of the people I see in my community, like if like people like go and see some of my discords, like people I've known for 5-6 years, they're just talking. We just go mess around. We mess in like Discord chats and talk and all that. And, one of my big talents is I'm decently good at remembering stuff, and like I try my best to remember like what matters in people's lives. And when they come in, like if I know they're a streamer, one of the things I know that matters is giving them the shout out, like saying, hey, you should go follow this person. Because the people that usually hop in my chat, I do my best to hop in their chat, and I try my best to support them in any way possible. And even if I can't support you, I make sure like I have a bot that shouts you out. I do something like this where it allows me to like help other people out at the time.
No, and I think that's the right mindset. I mean, I think when you start streaming, you've got to have a why, and not necessarily like the biggest picture, but you kind of have to have a goal in mind. So, if you're streaming because you want to be the biggest content creator, biggest streamer in the world, the odds are against you. I'm not saying you can't do it, but you have to realize that it takes a lot of hard work. People just don't hit the go live and it happens overnight. So if that's your goal, you have to be in it for the long haul, be willing to sacrifice, put in the work. Because like you said, if you don't, a lot of people get burned out because they expect that they're going to hit that go live. They're just immediately going to have all these viewers and things are going to go well. And streaming's so up and down. I've been streaming 2 years. I'll have sometimes nobody watching. Sometimes I'll have 23 people watching. It's so random and it's all over the place. So you definitely have to have the right mindset to do it. So it sounds like your mindset was just, I'm going to go on here and I'm going to have a good time with my friends. I'm going to try to make new friends, build a community, and just go from there. And is that what pretty much it?
Yeah. And also like I got into really big growth like mode where it was all about networking, and that's good and bad growth. Like I think I did research one time. It's like for every 50 followers you get like 0.3 viewers on average.
Mm-hmm.
And these are even people's Ninja. You look at Ninja and he has like 14,000 people watching. He has like 20 million followers. Right. There's not a lot of people. Like you can look at people like Ranger. I'm just showing some famous Fortnite streamers who has over 1 million followers, and he has like 3 million in all of his platforms, and he averages like 500, 700 people. And so
Yeah.
like knowing that like a follower count isn't really that important, it's about engagement. And you can do as much as you want to, but if you don't have followers that engage, like if I say, hey, do this, or hey, you should check this person out, having that community and building the community that will have them do that will set, you up a lot better than having 1 million viewers. Because 1 million viewers that aren't engaged, just don't talk, really don't do anything.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people get into streaming and they get caught up in that follow for follow mode where they'll just follow people to get a follow back. And then you build like really big numbers up, but you don't really have a community because those people aren't coming in and watching your stream and they aren't, participating on the daily. So I think it's better to have the lower numbers as long as they're real, people that you're engaging with, and your mindset be about community building rather than just focusing on numbers.
Yeah, and I'll also kind of just challenge it. I think follow for follow is both good and bad. I think
Okay.
when you're trying to get to affiliate, 50 followers is very important.
Yeah,
It's
for
the most
sure,
important
for
thing in the
sure.
world.
Mhm. Yeah,
But like once you go up to the next step, once you're past affiliate, it's not about followers anymore. Like once you go to 49 people, they don't care. Like they're like, okay, cool. Twitch doesn't really care. You're already affiliate.
Yeah.
They already get their money from you. But it's one of those things that people have to understand. It's just kind of like if someone follows you, check them out. You may
Yeah.
like them, you may not like them, and that's fine. Like there's people that I follow, which I'm like, okay, you're not my cup of tea, but like I'll try every now and then if I know you're having a special stream, stop by and say hi. Try to do that. But like there's also that kind of give and take, like where someone follows you and you show up and you give a lot of effort to like try to build a relationship. Sometimes there won't be that relationship. I'm talking more about smaller streamers too, because there's like partners where I follow a partner, and even if I'm involved in that partner's chat or talking to them and all that, I don't really, it's a different.
Yeah, you don't have that personal relationship that you do in a smaller community. And I think that's something else you got to keep in mind, whether you're a small streamer or a big streamer. Sometimes the amount of effort and the love that you put out is not always going to come back to you. A lot of times it does, but I know that, I'm as much as I can, because I do have a busy schedule. I try to be in people's streams, support. If I'm on their social media, I try to retweet, shout out, and that doesn't always happen from people. And I don't take it to heart because it's just not everybody has the same mindset. But I think you just need to prepare your mindset for it to be, and not only in streaming but in life, what's your why and what's your focus on? Because if you get caught up in numbers and all that stuff, I think you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, and it's a fact of life. Not everyone is good at everything, and you may not be a good streamer, and that's why you have to like what you do. Like if you like what you're doing, you can have 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 5 people, 10, 100. Like but if you like what you're doing, you're having fun, do it. It's fun. It's good.
I think that's
not worth it.
I think that's important if you're gonna hit. I think we were talking about this the other night. When you hit the go live button and you try to please people, you might make them happy, but eventually you're not going to be happy. Play the games you want to play. I know that this certain title is getting you X amount of followers, and when you play this game, it drops off. But unless you're doing this for a living, and even then, you should just do what you want to do, because ultimately you got to be happy with what you do. Lately, I've been just going to single player game playthroughs. Viewership is down, but at the same time, I'm enjoying myself more, because as much as I love playing with other people and playing, the shooter type games, I do get burnt out after a time. So I need to switch it up for myself so that I can continue to do this and enjoy it, because if I don't, I'm just eventually going to be so burnt out that I'm just going to stop doing it altogether. And I don't want that to happen, because my why is to build a community and to offer people a place to come and relax and know that they are appreciated and accepted. And so I think you have to really factor that in to what you're doing when you're streaming.
And just speaking from that, it's always really hard to figure out which you want your community to be, because there's certain communities where, you know, people just joke around with the streamer and troll the streamer, and that's acceptable. There's other communities
100%.
where you want to be family friendly and you're like, hey, I want to be, you know, which means you want to make sure your stream's open for people over the age of, I think, 15. You can have a Twitch account. And you want to make sure your stream is there. And so therefore the topics and conversations you can't really have as much.
Right.
And so like, it's a very fine line where like, I actually don't put my thing as mature, but when you're not mature, when mature just means you have to be 18 plus, but like I have it kind of there where like I joke around about PG-17.
Yeah.
Where like every now and then we could have a conversation or there could be something big, but it's, you know, I try to keep it as open as possible where, you know, if my kid walked in the room, he wouldn't be like, hey daddy, what's beep? And, you know, because right now he's saying fire truck, but put the F word instead of truh and you'll see what he's actually saying.
Right.
And it's been pretty humorous in that manner.
Yeah. I think that's good advice for anybody, whether you're starting out streaming or you've been streaming a long time, is figure out what you want and just go for that. You know, ultimately, it's got to be fun for you. And, you know, otherwise, what's the point? But so you've been streaming for what, about 3 years now?
Yeah, it'd be 3 years this August.
3 years in August. Wow. Yeah. That's quite a feat. So I'm sure in that time there's been a lot of ups and downs. Can you talk about some of those things? Talk about your journey a little bit, where it's went good, where it's kind of went to the side, you know.
So one of the things a lot of people kind of know is I took about 6 to 8 months stop in streaming entirely, where I would maybe stream like one time. And what happened during that time was my dad had stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and I was spending a lot of time flying and worrying about that and going home, visiting him. And I just wasn't in the mood to entertain. And because that's what streaming is, you're entertaining people. And so I flew back home, and so I took like 6 months off. And that was kind of a low, because even though I supported people, it became, you know, it was just kind of like not the same anymore. And like, I kind of was like, okay, I can, you know, I did not feel obligated to hop into people's streams, but at the same time, I wasn't hopping into a lot of streams. So when I came back, like I saw my viewership drop by 97%.
Wow.
Like I was averaging when I left about 25 people, and I come back, I'm now struggling to average 5.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a down, but at the same time, I'm like, you know, I'm not doing as much as I used to. I'm not working from home anymore 5 days a week. So I can't, you know, have a PC up and talk to some people as background noise. I'm not making clips of me doing 360 headshots. I'm not, you know, networking with other people and talking on like 25 Discords. I'm not doing the extra stuff you need for growth and acknowledgement. And then there was like, you know, one of the happy things we had was one of the best moments was probably 2 months in. I got rated by a streamer, and I got like 249 people in my chat.
Oh, wow.
I wish it was 250 because I could get some more VIP badges, but it's 249. And I remember that. It's 250 is the VIP. And I took it and I used it to raid other people. And so we had a raid train. And due to that raid train, we were able to get a guy named Rooster Beast affiliate, Sons of Cain, who's now Torp the Viking, who hasn't streamed in about 10 months. But like, we got him affiliate. And we got a ton of people affiliate. One of my first, gosh, Clifford, you need to chill, buddy. Clifford's just running around the cone. Clifford, if you don't chill, I'm going to have to send you upstairs. And like we had all these people be able to get affiliate, and that was really high. And also I used to have a pretty good machine going where I could get almost anyone affiliate in under a month at a time, where my community was able to hop in, do the follows, and show love right there. And like just kind of talking about like just the growth, like Nova here that just hopped in was someone where I met him through Rooster, because and then Nova's wife and Rooster used to be part of the same stream team. And I met Nova, and now I get to hang out with Nova every Friday because he refuses to stream on Wednesdays when I'm working from home. I'm not bitter, Nova. I'm just bitter.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And so, like, you never really know who you're going to meet and who's going to be a part of it. Like, and, it's just one of those things where networking is super important. So if you're looking to grow, you need to network and you need to make impactful networking. Not like hopping in real quick and saying like a word and leaving, because, that's hard. Because, like, if you do that, someone may do that to you, but it becomes that little hard to grow thing.
Yeah, it's something when I first started streaming, I didn't really know how it all worked. I didn't know a lot of people that streamed, and so I just would literally get on and just push the go live button, and I would play Call of Duty with my friends, and I didn't look at chat. I don't even think I had a chat. I was just playing games, and I didn't grow. I didn't get any followers, and I just didn't know anything about it, and I wasn't worried about it. I didn't start streaming to really go anywhere with it. But as I started watching more streamers and I started engaging and spending time in their chat, that just came about naturally. And then I had a person, Raven, I think her name's Raven Phoenix now, but it was Raven then. I ran into her through some mutual friends, and she's like, "Oh, I help people get affiliated, and here's how you do it. First of all, you're streaming like 4 hours at a time to no viewers, and you're never going to reach that average. Your average is just
put you in a negative.
It was destroyed right now. She's like, you need to let people know that you're streaming. Go for an hour, and when you get to your maximum views that you're going to get, like when I come in and bring people in, rate out and just do that for a while, and I got there in no time. She got me to affiliate in a few weeks. So
and it's playing the game. Affiliate's 100% just playing a game.
For sure.
Partner is a different game entirely, and most partners actually spend thousands of dollars to become a partner. If you didn't know that, they like hire people to make clips for them. They hire people to actually build scripts for the streams. People were like, oh, well, you have these people come in and like, I'm going to use Ninja, Bearded Bevins, and they actually have meetings before their stream with the people they're streaming with.
Mm-hmm.
And that way they are all on the same page, what they're going to be talking about, broadcasting, what they shouldn't talk about. And that's kind of how they do a lot of the stuff.
It's a television production. Like you said, this is entertainment. So
yeah. And, for professionals like partners, it is 100% entertainment budget. For normal people, it's more of having fun. But if you want to make it big, you have to be entertaining in some way, shape, form, fashion.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's important, just to be realistic, but also just know what your intentions are, because it is going to take a lot if you want to get to that next level. There's very few people that I know that, besides some, like I'm really big in Apex. I don't ever stream it because I'm terrible at that game, but there's Apex pros that have zero personality, but because they're really good at the game, they get 1,000, maybe 500, concurrent viewers. They make partner, but they're never really going to go anywhere. And if they stop playing the game, they're going to fall off. But then there's people with a ton of personality. But if you look at the streamers at the highest level, let's say Tim the Tapman, Nick Merckx, Ninja, they have whole teams around them. Like they literally have people that control their social media, that run, like you're saying, that they have meetings with, and it's really strategically planned out. So it's not, I'm going to hit the go live and I'm going to be the next biggest streamer. It's not going to happen like that.
And also you have to have luck. Like Ninja was really good at, I forgot the game. It's another first-person shooter game. And then he got into Fortnite when Fortnite was growing and started placing in tournaments. And because of that, he got more points and he got more notoriety. And then he had his very good attitude, which kind of got him that jump. And there's also the thing where if you're going to be a good streamer, you need to have that viral moment. There was a girl streamer who was really small. If you years ago who won a PC drawing from some PC company. And they literally on their stream said, "Oh no, she's too small. We'll want her." And then they didn't give her the PC.
I remember seeing that. Yeah,
That company
yeah,
went out of business,
yeah.
and
They
she that was good publicity for her. She all of a sudden went from like 50 followers to, or not 50, probably like 500 or so, to 29,000 overnight. And
yeah,
her videos, and she's still cruising, I think, at like 800 viewers. And what
yeah.
helped her get there was bad luck, like or good luck, even where like someone trash talked, said, "Oh yeah, you're not this." And
Yeah.
so, you have to find a way to build a viral moment, and that viral moment will help you go up
And
there.
sometimes, like you said, it can just be like look. I used to mod when I first started even realizing what streaming was. I just found Stone Mountain on Facebook, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I didn't even know what streaming was, but I started watching him. And as I started watching more people on Facebook, I didn't even know anything about Twitch yet. I was just watching people on Facebook. I ran into this young Canadian streamer. He was 18 years old, great kid, and he had just a great personality. And he had a few followers here and there, but nothing major. But I just had a feeling like he was gonna do well because he just was good gameplay, but a really good personality.
Yeah.
And I started modding for him, and there's a gamer on Facebook called Hitman Gaming, and he's pretty big. He's terrible at video games,
Yeah.
but his personality is larger than life, and he has a lot of viewers. Well, the kid I was modding for, Hype, killed him in Call of Duty, and Hitman thought that he was stream sniping because it was such an outrageous shot that he hit. And he didn't tell them to, but all of Hitman's followers came over and were like, stop cheating, and we're like, whoa, this is he was 17 at the time. This is a 17-year-old kid. You can't talk to him like this. Like the mods had his back. And then Hitman got wind of the people were doing this, and he came over and was like, oh no, we're not doing that. But that brought over, I think at that time, like 2,000 people on his stream to a kid that wasn't even affiliated yet. And he got affiliate and, grew from there. And then eventually he just stepped away from streaming because he wanted to go to college and get into other things.
Yeah.
But like that moment, just hitting the luckiest shot of his life took him to a whole nother level.
Yeah. And that's one of the things where I always tell people it's good to try a stream. You may have a failed stream, but like, you never know. There could be some partner coming in and being like, hey, I like this one person. Let me rate them.
Yeah.
And then the next big thing is just find your niche, like whether or not your niche is being good at video games, to being entertaining, to doing XYZ. And for newer streamers, I say stick to one game. No one cares if you play 1,000 games when you're first growing, because the community isn't there for you. They're there for gameplay. 99% of the time. There's always that 1% where the community is there for you. I know some people that started streaming and people just loved them because they were always in their chats.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they started streaming, they got affiliate really quick because of that. But yeah, that's just kind of the, I guess growing up thing that you kind of realize when you start streaming. When you first come in, you're like, oh, I'm going to make it big. And some people have very good success. Other people just don't.
Yeah. And I think it's important what you said, find your niche, because I'm terrible at video games. I've been playing video games for 40 years. I'm still bad. I'm never going to be good. And I've accepted that fact. It's reality.
Just let me yell at you. Redeem.
Yeah.
Shoot the guy. Shoot the guy.
Yeah. Pico, even in streaming, Pico has to yell at me. You're on the wrong camera or whatever. Your mic's off. Like without Pico, I'd be lost. Like when he's not there, I'm like, Pico's failing me. But
while you stream during family time. Or I guess wife time.
Yeah. But my niche that I found that I'm really excited about and that I like is doing this. I think I'm good in this space and I enjoy doing this a lot. So I think it's just for each person. People think you have to stream a video game. Like if you go through the Twitch categories, there are people playing music, there are people painting, there are people building projects, working on engines. Like anything you can think of, you can stream. And if that's your passion, it'll come through and people will appreciate that.
Yeah. Speaking about that, so one thing I really like to do is when I look for new streamers, I love music streamers. And so I'll just go search music and go through. And that's actually how I found HK.
Okay.
Was
And that's how I found you through HK.
yeah, and I found that, and then I also found Katie through HK2, where it
Right.
was due to a conversation. I was like, okay, I'll go check you out, and she said, okay, fine. If you come in, I'll say hi, Kevin. I'm like, sure, you won't. And that one interaction though, and I've been, she streams right when I work, and there's other streamers I know, like I met through music, who I've sat there and I'm like, you are really, really good at what you do. And those streamers are the ones I follow. I follow and and sometimes they'll hop into my stream, sometimes they won't. And it's kind of cool to just be like, yeah, I wish I could play the violin like you do.
Yeah.
No,
but they're doing what they love, and that passion comes through. And even if they're not the greatest at what they do, it's still the passion and the interaction with the community. It kind of draws you in. They may, some of them will sell records, some of them will never sell records, but because they have such an engaging personality, you want to be there with them.
Yeah, and this person, like one of the people that play, I always really, I enjoy her. She's actually part of a band, and so some of their music is okay. And I actually turned it on to my wife, and I was like, "Hey, look at this." By the way, I'm going to do something. Have you ever heard of BeReal?
There's a old school rapper named BeReal. I don't think you're talking about him. So,
but you should smile for a second. For all you guys who know about the hipness, BeReal is a app where once a day you take a picture of what you're doing. A lot of times I'm doing like meetings, and so not a lot of people know that. But you can kind of post it, and it's just like, what are you doing at this moment?
All right.
And
so it's not the gangster rapper from Cypress Hill. I stand corrected.
Yeah, and so I just posted being real. I just took a quick picture, posted in like, hey, being interviewed right now on stream with Redeemed, and it's just a quick little social media thing. But it's kind of a cool. It's just like a little way where it's like anti-social media, kind of. Whereas the idea is you put these fake Instagram pictures, you do this fake stream, and no one really knows what you're doing. And besides, most people probably don't care that I spend half my time in sweatpants.
Facts. Who even wears pants on stream? I'm just kidding.
Technically, I'm wearing shorts, so I'm not sure. But wasn't there a song like "Who Wears Short Shorts"? Who wears short shorts?
It's in all the
short shorts.
It's in all the Nair commercials.
Yeah.
So we've talked about a lot about kind of the ups and downs of streaming and where you should try to make your focus and doing what makes you happy and having a why and a goal. Is there any pitfalls or bad situations that you've experienced while you were streaming that you can kind of bring to light so people can know what to look out for, or maybe they can identify with it, and we can kind of raise awareness on some things to don't do or to be on the lookout for, or to realize are part of life and that you just got to move on with it.
Yeah. So one of the things I found out when I started streaming was there's a lot of people that stream in different ways. And there's a lot of different whys on why people stream. One is people stream for fun and they just hang out and that's it. They don't really care what's going on. They're just there to chill and vibe and chat. The second one is some people are streaming to try to make it a job. Like their entire goal is to become the next Ninja, Nick Mercs, and all that. A third is some people stream just to get an income. Like they are a stay-at-home mom or they are, stay-at-home dad, and this is a way for them to stay at home when their kid naps and does an income. And the fourth one is some people don't even know they're streaming. And so finding the why is really important because if you know the why, you know the motivation of the person streaming. And that can help you get away from toxic communities and toxic people. There's certain people that come in and they're they come in, they're like, oh, you have to give 1,000 subs or, you have to give sub or, blah, 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 blah. And you kind of see those people are ones that their communities are more of a giving relationship, where there was one streamer I knew, like if you had not given 20 subs, so $100 to that streamer, they're just going to pretend you don't exist. And there's a lot of thirsty guys out there, so a lot of people are giving 20 subs to that streamer. I just said drink some water, it's cheaper. But the way ball prices are going up, just like eggs, it may not be cheaper soon.
Yeah.
And so kind of the lesson there is make sure you know the motivation of the communities you're going into. Streaming and streamers, like ones that want to be partner, are going to have to be toxic. It's a fact of life. Like you have to be cutthroat to be a partner. Even because you have to know, like, your job is to make sure you have 90 plus people in your stream at every single time getting, I think it was like, it used to be 500 subs minimum a month for partner.
Wow.
Like,
that's crazy to even think about.
And so you think about those references, like those people have to, and so like you have to understand, like those people may not be friends. Bori! And those people are kind of like, and they're willing to cut you out of their life if they don't see a purpose for you. I choose to ignore Pico. Bori, you go play Tears of the Kingdom, okay? You make me sad.
What's funny about that is I've been in partner streams, and the amount of times that subs comes up, especially like newer partners, is unreal. Like, oh, you should give me a sub for that, or just keep mentioning it like over and over again. And I guess that's why I didn't realize the number had to be so high.
The Twitch application used to be pretty high and they usually reject you the first time unless you had like 3 months of that. And then with that, you can kind of press in. But, and Bori, you better make sure you're in your girlfriend's stream if she's still streaming, just an FYI. Be a good boyfriend. But I love you, Bori. But like, there's people like there where if you only get focused on those numbers, she's not, okay, you could then stay here, Bori. You're not allowed to leave now. But like, if there's like people like they're only focusing here, like focus on like numbers on that, like it makes you not as focused on the community aspect. I think that's different where someone straight subs to you. Yeah, definitely. Like make sure you call out the subs, like, because that's them giving either their Bezos dollar, for the primetime sub, or just, they're giving $5 to not watch ads for you.
Yeah.
And, based on how many subs you get, you can get like new emotes and stuff like that, which is also really important. But like, that's, I think, the most important thing going in there, because, people are spending money on you, especially at this time of year. Money's not good. Like a lot of people are losing their jobs. There's inflation going on, so someone just willing to spend $1 on you is always great.
It's huge. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so, as I said, I understand why certain partners become toxic, because they kind of have to. Like, I expect Ninja to be 100% toxic in real life because everyone wants something from him.
Yeah.
And when I say toxic, I mean like, only looking out for himself. But at the same time, he also has a wife who's his manager, so her job depends on him being good. And he has like, I think like 5 or 6 people working for him. So like, he has to be that person.
Yeah, let's acknowledge the amount of pressure. Like, people are like, being a video game streamer is my dream, but they don't realize the pressure it takes not only to make it to the top, but to stay on top, because you're making money from subs and stuff like that, and you've got to perform to keep those numbers up, but you're also making a lot of money from being partnered to certain brands. And if your numbers dip, those brands are going to go somewhere else. And the pressure to just continually pump out top tier content to engage with people, especially like Ninja, if you've been playing the same game for 6 years or however long he's been playing that game, I don't know how long Fortnite's been out, but it's been a while, a few years. That's a lot of pressure. Yeah.
And Bori, we actually talked about that, especially if you take a break too long, you drop. Yeah. And that's one of the things that like we saw with me, where I took a 6-7 month break and all of a sudden I wasn't there. You took a huge break too. And it's really hard for you to grow like back to where you used to be. And being consistent is something, if you're new to streaming, I've told a few people that just started streaming, like, hey, make sure you give it time. Like, don't just turn on your stream thing. Make sure you let us know
Yeah.
because,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
important to have your schedule in your Twitch. If you're on social media, get it out to all your social media. Have it running through a stream elements blurb. Let people know when you're going to be on and be consistent. I had to take a break too, 6 months. My wife had cancer, so I was out. And right before, I was probably at my highest level. My streams were doing really well. And when I say really well, I'm not talking about like I had a million people in there. Like I was consistently like 8, maybe, which is great for me because
well, remember 90% of Twitch has 1. So
yeah,
you're already
yeah,
in the top 10% if you have 1.1.
yeah. And I was thankful for those people. But when I came back, it was kind of a grind to get back to.
Yeah.
But luckily, I engaged with a lot of people as much as I could while I was off, not streaming, and that helped. But it's definitely something that if you want to do and do at a high level, you've got to be dedicated to it.
Yeah. And it's like I said, life comes fast. And for us, streaming is not life. Like, I do not make,
Yes.
I make $0. Well, I make, $50 or something, wherever the payout is on Twitch. Like, I don't make any real money doing that.
I don't make any money because I put it all back in the stream. Like everything you see here costs money for me to do this stream and everything. I have to pay for the Restream app and all that stuff. So some months I'm in the negative, but I do it because I enjoy it.
It's a hobby.
It's a
not,
hobby, yeah. And any hobby you're going to sink money into.
Yeah, and like I have a lot, like one of my hobbies, which I've been wanting to do more, is I want to be moving to be a running coach. And that's one of the things I kind of wish I could do better with streaming is kind of get that in there. And
Yeah.
I also agree with you, Bori. Like I put every single dollar I earn in Twitch, I always put back into Twitch, whether or not it's buying a new video game, emotes.
Yeah, same.
I try my best, like, I actually have a sub budget where I have 5 gifted subs I can give a month because my
Dang,
wife and
that's my exact number.
yeah, my wife and I purposely do that. And so like I plan out who I'm giving subs to. Like if you don't know this, like all this is planned out months before
Right.
or a month before I actually do it. Like, for example, I know a few people have birthdays this month. And so I'm going to be giving them a few subs on their birthdays.
Right.
Katie, Voice Unmuted, has a birthday this month. I think she's a couple days before my birthday. And also, I don't think the person's in chat. So, but like there's one person that's always been coming to my stream, and I'm going to give a birthday gift for myself to him and give him a sub. It doesn't really matter.
For sure.
But like, yeah.
Just to catch up with Boyer real quick, I appreciate that. I'm really sorry to hear that your mom passed away from cancer. It's a terrible thing. Luckily, my wife's was caught early. She is cancer free now. The surgery was successful. Of course, she has to be closely monitored, but she is doing well. So I appreciate you acknowledging that. But yeah, I got to do the same thing. I've got to set a limit, and I've got to figure out. Okay, well, there's certain, apps that I pay for and things that I pay for to do all this streaming, and then I'm like, okay, then I can do this many subs, and that's just how it is,
Yeah, and it's kind of like waiting up, like I actually found out I got Twitch payout and I was able to buy Tears of the Kingdom early.
Yeah.
But like, I have a Zelda game, which I bought because of Twitch money. And, it's kind of that thing. It's like just an extra income.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to have a little bit to throw back into your hobby.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, if someone wants to drop a ton of money on a streamer, good, go for it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, if you have the money to do it, like make sure you can eat, have rent, pay your bills. And then if you have extra money, do it. All my extra money right now goes to my kids' daycare.
Yeah. You see some of those streamers that have Oilers in their chat that drop like 25 subs and then another 25 subs, and you're like,
yeah, I watched someone drop 451 subs in a stream this week.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there, I was like, and like the streamer is great. I love the streamer who that person did too. But I'm like, I always secretly kind of hope that like when they do it, there's no alternative motive.
Yeah, just from the goodness of because they want to, they enjoy the content. And some people have disposable income like that.
Yeah.
When I was saying I moderated for that kid on Facebook, I can't remember the guy's name, but there was a famous guy around Facebook circles that would pop into random streams and just give crazy amounts of subs or bits.
Yeah.
And when I'm saying like 100 subs, for a streamer he didn't know, he'd just come in and drop in 100 subs, and then he would disappear, and it was like a myth. Everybody like, who is this guy? But some people will have that, and most of us don't.
Yeah, there's one streamer who, like, a couple of their songs like helped me through like grieving my dad's death, and so I had some extra money that month from a Twitch payout and all that, and I gave that entire Twitch payout to that streamer.
Nice.
And I did anonymously, and I'm not going to say the streamer's name, but I don't think anyone knows who that person was. But I was like, hopped in and said, "Hey, thank you so much. Your music really helped me. Here you go."
Yeah, that's great.
Is, one of the ways I can say thank you back, because I was blessed enough to have some extra cash to give that month.
For sure.
And I think that was really important, and for that person, like, their life is based on their music on Twitch. And so I was able to help that person out too.
That's always good. Yeah. When you can see it going somewhere, that's really cool. So we've kind of been throughout the streaming journey up till now. Do you have any plans for the future? Anywhere you see it going? Any things you want to do, or any goals you're setting, or are you just like happy? Because like we said before, it's not our life. It's not what we do for full time or anything, even in that means. But do you have anything coming up?
Well, I do have my birthday coming up this month, so we'll do something for my birthday, a little birthday stream. I'll probably do some, like, peppers or something like that, some punishment. Goodness gracious, dogs.
I did the Bean Boozled challenge, and I hate myself for it.
But like, I think that's kind of the big thing right now, is just kind of keeping everything kind of slow. I'm doing a lot of random stuff, like in real life, trying to get stuff organized, getting stuff ready to go. And maybe doing some shifts and some bigger stuff like that has bigger impacts in my personal life. And so that kind of puts stream a little bit on hold. I do want to maybe get down and start figuring out if I want to do a push to do back to growth. And that would be reaching out, talking to my mods that I have in some of my channels, and kind of trying to say, hey guys, what can we do to make the stream better? And have them basically critique me and say all the bad stuff. And I know Bory's sitting there right now. It's like, I can tell him just to cover his face, because no one wants to see that ugly face. Bory, you are a mod, unless you unmodded yourself. Just an FYI, Bory, I know you're a mod. You're actually an editor mod. You're one of the 5 people that can change my stream titles.
Ooh, power. The power's real.
You wouldn't say that I love seeing that face. You mean that so you agree I should turn off the camera. That's exactly what you're saying, was that English there.
So what you were saying about kind of talking to your mods, I know a friend of ours, Rebel Aviator, he in his Discord, he just had one this past weekend. He hosts a State of the Stream, and he will like have the Discord, open, and members of the community can come in and make suggestions. And I think that's a really good way to go forward, to be willing to hear some critiques and be willing to listen to different ideas, and make a plan from there.
And some of that is like critiques. Like, it's good to have critiques, but I always tell people, it's like, not every critique is good and meaningful. Like, I can come in and say, Redeemed, a lion is a really bad logo. Why are you doing that? And you'd be like, well,
I agree. What the heck am I doing?
Like, you come back to me and say, hey, that's not a really good critique. But saying, you'd be like, hey, Redeem, you should make sure your scene has a picture. You should make sure you're actually showing the game you're playing instead of your beautiful face. Like, that's a critique that's actually actionable and useful.
Do people want to see me play bad video games, or do they want to see the beard?
I just go for the hot fashion. That's why I sub. That's also why I sub to you, Bory. So whenever you come back on, I'll be right back. I have an ad. Okay. But
Mike is making He's
and
doing
Legos.
Mickey's doing custom Lego figures. Nice.
Mikey, what type of Lego figures going? The Ghost from COD. Okay.
Nice.
You already knew exactly where I was going to go lead into. But yeah, and I definitely think kind of going from there is having people that are able to tell you where you're bad and giving you critical feedback. There's actually something called Radical Candor, which is a really good book. If people haven't read it, which talks about giving feedback in the feedback loop. And the goal is to know that not all, even bad feedback, depending on what it is, it's not necessarily bad. Like, because as humans, we all make mistakes. And the key is to learn from your mistake. And it's better to make a mistake going 100% than make a mistake going 5% or 10%. Because if you only go 10% and you make a mistake, everyone's going to be like, wow, you stink, you know? But like my coach always taught me, hey, go 100 miles an hour. Because even if you did it wrong, you know, if you gave it your all and gave them all the information they could, no one, it's not, you know, yes, you got it wrong. Don't get me wrong. That's bad. You should do better next time. But like you at least know that you gave it 100%. It's like a lot of companies in tech are going through layoffs right now. And it's kind of like, I know, hey, if I get laid off, it's not due to my performance. I work my butt off every single day and I'm good at it. You know, it'll always for me, it'll be about money issue. And just knowing that kind of sets your like mind to say, instead of being woe to me, it is, I got this, you know, if everything bad happens, I'm good.
No, perspective is so huge. I was talking about that at work today. I'm in a management position and I have a lot of guys underneath me, and there's been I like you am a professional nitpicker, so I'm in the construction industry, and I overlook the supervisors' works of the job sites, and I tell them, you know, what's good, what's bad, and what needs to be fixed. And I was telling them, you have the 1,000-foot view really good. You know your jobs, you know what needs to be done, but when it comes down to the finer details, you're missing a lot. You need to be able to have perspective on the whole thing so that you can be as successful as possible. If you only have one view of things and you're not seeing the whole picture, that's where your setbacks and your failure is going to come in. And like you were saying, even when people give you off the wall criticism, it's still good, even if you know it's wrong. How did they arrive at that? Like, what is the mindset that led them to that? Because that can even inform you about mindsets in your life that are also wrong. You know?
Yeah. One thing I did, I don't think I told anyone about this, was when I was growing a lot, I actually hired someone to critique my stream. And this person I knew had put 17 partners in the last 8 months before me. And they gave me 300 things I did wrong in my stream.
Wow.
300 random things. They were like, you're doing too many shout outs, you're doing too many of this, you're doing too much of this, your game choice is bad, you know, blah, 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 blah. And they kind of said, here's what you need to do to get partner. And it was kind of like that, you know, welcome to the, you know, jungle thing where you're like, you know, like, oh my goodness, there's so much stuff going on. And it was an interesting critique because they came over and they're like, you have the opportunity, you have the potential, but there's stuff you do wrong. Like one thing is I say the word too much, where they calculated, and in a 2-hour stream, I said I think 197 times.
Oh, wow.
You know,
they were literally counting.
Yeah, they literally counted. And as I said, it was like $100 or something for this person to come in and basically watch 3 of my streams and kind of critique me. And I said, here's a stream I thought I did good in, here's a stream I thought I did bad in, and then they chose one random stream to look at. And, you know, it's just all about taking the critique and taking the ability to understand, like, hey, you're not going to be perfect at everything. There's a lot of stuff I'm flawed in real life, and there's a lot of stuff I'm flawed in, you know, in streaming. But
yeah,
again, you can only change one thing, and that's like how your mindset is towards it, and then you can change what you want to change.
Yeah, and I think that goes so much deeper than just streaming. I think in life in general, always increasing your view of things and realizing there's more to the story and to the picture than what you're viewing it as. You might think that you're killing it in life, doing well, and there's a lot of blind spots, or you might think you're doing terrible, but you're missing all these things that you're doing well. And even many people know, and a lot of your people that are in might not know. I'm a pastor, and so I always talk about this in small groups about the idea of viewing everything through the lens of eternity. Like, where does it fit into the grander scheme of things? And then that can make a lot of difference in how you view your entire life and situation. So
Yeah, and it's like taking a big step. Like, it's fine to understand, like, hey, this matters to me here, but this is matters to me in the big picture. It's saying your goals and knowing where you kind of step in and realizing I don't have the drive to be a full-time content creator is a good step where I would always have to focus on work instead.
yeah,
And that's something that is a big realization,
true.
but stuff like that.
And I think we were talking about that since the beginning. That all goes back to what's your why, what's your motivation, and how far are you willing to go to achieve that. I think we both said it's to be the biggest streamer in the world is neither of our goals, and we're not going to put in the time or effort to get to that level, because it's ultimately just not what we want to do. So, I mean,
Yeah, and that's that.
Boy says, yeah, I just play with no one cares what people think. Maybe that's why I stay where I'm at. We talked about it earlier. If you're happy ultimately doing what you're doing, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I play games that I want to play. I produce content like this because it's what I want to do. And if the numbers are good or bad, ultimately I'm fine with that, because I'm not trying to get to the next level. So it really depends on where your goals are. If you are trying to get to the next level, then you maybe need to talk to somebody that's at that level or as close to it that can, as Pico was saying, give you a different perspective, a different view of things, and help you get to that place.
Yeah. Yeah, Clifford has a kind of shame due to allergies. Doodles have a lot of allergies, and so he licks his paw raw, and so we have to put a cone of shame on
Oh
him for about
no,
4 or 5 days to break that
not
trend.
not the cone of shame.
So he is not happy with me.
It's
And
all right.
yeah, but as I said, it's just one of those things where you can, like, it's all about this. Like, having a schedule matters a lot. Like, being able to say, hey, I'm streaming 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. every single weeknight. I used to do 5:30, which was a lot easier because I didn't have a kid and I was working from home all the time.
Yeah.
I did 5:30 to 6:30, and that time slot was really good for me. But when I had a kid, like, that became not good, and it was just all trying to catch up.
Yeah, my schedule now, I literally sat down and with my wife and said, all right, we have children, we have our relationship. In reality, how many times can I stream a week that's going to still give the family the attention it needs? And what are the best times to do that? So I usually don't go live until 8:30 when everyone's starting to settle in for the night. I've had dinner with them. I spent time with them, whether we're watching a movie or playing games or whatever. And then when everybody's winding down for the night, then I can get on. And, we decided on 3 nights a week. So it's really what works for you. And the people in your life are going to kind of determine that as well, or they should factor into that if you want to have a successful balance in your life.
Now, let me tell you about this. I go over to my wife and say, hey, I'm going to go stream right now, okay? And you're just going to take it. And then
Okay,
I learned
everybody
that Clifford's dog bed is a very
clip it, chat, clip it, and send it to Pico's wife.
Yeah. Hashtag Miss Pico doesn't know. She actually still has a Twitter, I think, but I don't think she uses it. But no, it's definitely like making sure your spouse is on board. And like, so for something like this, it was my normal time. But I was like, hey, I'm going to do an interview. Yeah, we know why. By the way, my wife's family was probably in the mafia, so I'm pretty sure they can make me go missing. But that's a different story from probably not on stream yet. Because I plead the fifth. Can you plead the fifth with the mafia? Asking for a friend now, asking for me. But no, but like in all seriousness, so it's kind of like that thing where I told my wife, hey, I'm doing the stream here. It's going to last from maybe 8 to 10 ish. And it's kind of like, she was like, okay, because like yesterday we did something for her, which was we did a 5K and with her coworkers, and I took the kid the entire time, and so it's kind of like I did that, it's just kind of like mix and matching.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, I'm going to have a little bit of late beer with one of my neighbors because I want to talk to him about some career stuff because he did something I want to do, and I'm like, how can I follow you?
Yeah.
You're smarter, and so like that's time she'll take a step up, but like that means this weekend I'm going to have to take a step up and do additional stuff.
Right.
And it's just finding the perfect time, and the perfect time became 9:30 at night. So that way we can cook dinner and the wife and I can watch some reality TV show from 7:30 to 9:30.
Yeah.
I don't, because I like to go to sleep early. If I can go to sleep at 10 o'clock every day, I would. But yeah, that hasn't happened in a long time because the wife likes to stay up until midnight. And we all know the rules, guys. If the woman wants to stay up until midnight, we're all staying until midnight.
Right. And when they go to bed, they want you to be in bed with them.
Precisely.
But I think all of this really has been good because it's kind of like everybody can look at this. Maybe they're married, maybe they're not. Maybe they want to make it in streaming. Maybe they just want to play with their friends. I think everybody can pick a piece from this and figure out how it fits in their life. But there's some truth that everybody can take from this is there's got to be a purpose not only in streaming but in life and everything they do. Like figure out if you have a goal. Like you said, you're going to have a meeting with someone that's somewhere you want to be tomorrow night and you want to get to that level. So you're going to meet this. So surround yourself with people that will take you to that next level. Your life can be a direct reflection of the people that you put in place around you. And if you put a lot of people around you that aren't going anywhere or aren't where you want to be, guess what? You're probably going to stay in the same place,
Yeah.
So,
and it's always like, look at where you're around, like the streaming and with streamers, look at the communities you're in. Are they uplifting? Are they lined with the same
100%.
purpose of yours? And it doesn't mean you agree with everyone 100% because you won't. But if you're in a streaming community where it's a lot of give and no take, or a lot of take and no give, take note of that because those streamers usually have a lot of stuff that goes on, and you as someone, you only have like so much of a candle you can burn. So make sure you do that. And, understand though, people get burned out. People will quit streaming. Sometimes you won't talk to them ever again. And that's just the way life goes. Sometimes their kid friends you on Fortnite and wants to play Fortnite with you 24/7. You're like, bro, you're 6. I don't want to play with you right now.
I've actually had that happen.
Yeah. Bori, did you ever meet Kenny? Because but like him and I have talked like a couple times throughout like the last 2 years since he stopped streaming. But I miss that's someone I'm like, man, I miss I haven't seen him in forever, streaming. But every now and then I'll play Fortnite with him and his kid, which is really fun to do. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Liam's in elementary school now. It's weird. I remember when he was a little baby, and now, and I think his daughter's just as old as my kid. So it's kind of a weird thing to watch, certain people grow up, and other people will every now and then hop on. And Kenny used to stream, and when he streamed, his kid was there most of the time because his kid was in preschool, and his kid would go play, and there would be a thing you could go talk to his kid, and his kid will trash talk you on Discord.
Nice.
It was hilarious. For 20,000 channel points, you can get trash talked by a 4-year-old.
Nice.
And his kid would play Fortnite with us, and his kid would run and be like, "I'm going to go find," and then all of a sudden you hear the little red thing, and then you see the card appear, and you're like, I don't think he won that fight. He lost. But
sounds like me.
Yeah, but you can kind of tell a little bit from Bori, him and I are in the same streamer circle, and so there's streamers like that who are also really, we know, and some of these streamers have stopped streaming. I don't think Kenny has streamed in a year plus. There's also a streamer, one of the guys I was really close with when we first started was Mambo Ninja, and he doesn't even go, Yeah, Bori, you haven't streamed in 2 weeks, okay? I literally watched you when I was in Texas playing my Switch while sitting in a hotel room with my kids sleeping. But yes, you do need to start streaming, Bori, whenever you get off your shift.
I mean, I think as far as that goes, it's a lot like life. There's going to be people that come in to your life for a short season, and there's going to be other people that will be there for the long haul. I felt like in streaming, I've made some pretty long-term friends that since I've been streaming, we've been friends. And then there's been people that like, what was that dude's name? Or like, oh, I remember them, but I haven't seen them in forever. It's just kind of like the way life is, so.
I was looking at my mod thing real quick as Bori said something, and I realized, like, man, I haven't talked to this one mod in forever. I need to reach out to him, like, because he's a really awesome guy. He's played with me. I think I've talked to him in a month and a half, or I say forever. It feels like forever. I think he's maybe hopped in like one time. I'm like, I need to go talk to him and say, hey, bro, what's up? I missed you. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes. Maybe he doesn't want to talk, and maybe he does.
Yeah, maybe he needs somebody to reach out. You just never know. I mean, check on your streamer friend. We're not always okay.
Yeah. And, there's certain, it's just like always reaching out. Like, there's one guy who I know in real life. It's like, I only know like 2 real life people on my stream.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. I've cleaned up some of my founders because I had a few who were pretty toxic and I got rid of them. I was like, someone else can get a badge. But there's other founders which I haven't gotten rid of because I'm like, well, even though you never hopped in my stream, you still were a big part of my streaming career. So if we ever come together, you can forever, get my number 1 badge. Mods I've cleaned up pretty well. Like Okay, Mikey, have a good night. Thanks so much for hopping in.
Hey, thank you, Mikey. Appreciate you.
And so, it's just stuff like that.
Yeah. So I think we've covered the whole gambit. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about or get into tonight?
Yeah. So, Bori, the only reason you're a mod is because I don't know how to change any of my commands. And I feel like as long as you let me be a mod in Ban Shadow, you can be a mod on my channel for as long as you want. I don't really care. But I think one of the big things I just want to highlight again and kind of go over is the most important thing is finding your niche and what you want to do. It doesn't matter if you are going to, if you're going to go towards X or Y, but just find your niche and be true to yourself, because everyone can kind of see if someone is fake. If you're like trying to be someone else, people can read through it. And, yes, some people want to be ninja, some people want to be this, but what makes them unique is who they are genuinely. They broadcast themselves a little bit more, but they're still who they are. And Bori, both of them. I want both of them banned. We actually raided Shadow Realm last night. And that's one of the things I always kind of want to encourage. And the next thing is, when you're growing, raid out to people. One of the things I've been really bad at recently is I only raid out to my community. And I should raid out to more people, but I always feel kind of bad if I'm raiding with like a small number to a new person. But then again, if your raid was like 4 people, that's above the average affiliate, and you can find someone who's not affiliated and raid into them.
Yeah. That's true. It's something I need to get better at as well.
And I always tell people raid, and, talk them up. Like, there's certain people you want to raid, and also build the relationships and make them a real relationship. Don't make them like, I'm going to hop in your channel and just say one word and leave. Because when the time gets tough and people want to go hang out with someone, you want to be hanging out with people that talk to you. And you want to hang out with people that matter in your life. And if they don't matter in your life, then you won't want to hang out with them. And so make those connections, make them that last, and be genuine. Also, for all the guys out there, if you give 100 subs to a girl in a hot tub, they're not going to like you. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. They just want your subs. They want your money. You might as well just take your money and donate it to Redeem and Pico Fund. We will love you no matter what.
Exactly.
No, but
give it at charity. Burn it in a fire. It's about the same thing.
Or if I could find a hot tub, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Listen,
Yes, I will sell myself out for money.
for 100 subs, Pico and I will do a live hot tub stream.
You know,
Co-stream.
legitimately for 100 subs, we divide that 50-50. We could probably meet up in middle no like between our house because that'd only be an hour drive ish for each
True.
of us. And
Facts. Facts.
but yeah, there's certain stuff like that where we can do. Actually, I think the second stream I ever saw of HK, he was in a hot tub, and I felt kind of weird. I wasn't sure what to do.
But the thing about that was they were in a hot tub, but they were in full costume. Like, didn't they have like the full body, like
Yeah, the full body
y'all-
onesie.
Yeah.
It was a weird experience. I wasn't
It
sure.
was
how
him and Bob, his roommate Bob. I remember that. It was really wild.
Yeah, I was watching that. I was like, I'm not sure how I feel, but it's okay.
If you didn't know him, it was really, really weird. But if you knew him, it was kind of
It was my
funny
second
and
ever time.
ironic.
It was my second ever
Right.
time hanging out with him, and I was like, okay,
What?
I'm not sure if I'm going to be back, but we'll see. And
Yeah.
I was back. But yeah, but that's just kind of my big thing is be who you are, you know, be your genuine person. Like if you actually all the three people I've seen, you know, Mikey, Bori, and Nova have all been like genuine selves on stream. Where sorry, Nova, I've watched so many hours of you streaming now. Like I'm pretty sure the only thing you do a little bit more of is when we play Fortnite, you clap back some of my insults that you don't do on stream. But other than that, you're exactly the same person. Bori's the same way. And Mikey's the same way. He's been the same since I've known him when he started following me back in like 21. And so, you know, be yourself. You know, understand that you may not grow as much as you want to grow. And just like have fun. Like it's video games are supposed to be fun. And if you ever think streaming becomes a job, step back and look at it. Unless it's paying all of your bills, streaming is a hobby, not a job.
Yeah, for sure.
And remember, if you're drinking Glitch Energy, use the code REDEEM for 10% off your Glitch Energy order.
Oh my gosh.
And if you're playing Fortnite or any Epic games, you can use the code PICO401 to get Pico money because there's take money away from Epic. You know you want to. I know I want to. But all jokes aside, but like definitely make sure you do that. Also, just remember, like anything you support, make sure you actually support it. No,
I think that's solid advice.
like I expect Redeem to drink Glitch Energy. You'll never in 1,000 years see me say you should drink Glitch Energy.
I actually do drink it. I wouldn't rep something I don't. I actually do. I don't have any tonight because I want to go to sleep tonight. I don't feel like putting 200 milligrams of caffeine in my body. But I do drink it.
I'm always terrified of like caffeine drinks. Personally, they scare me. Like what? Like super caffeinated drinks. Like I'm always worried. Like will that hurt my heart or something?
I live on caffeine and anger.
Really?
No, not at all.
Dude, Pure Leaf like is legit. I did SodaStream, which kind of got me rid of a lot of the Coke stuff. SodaStream and then like fountain drinks, which are a lot healthier than like a Coke can, which I thought was kind of stunning when I found that out. But yeah, it's like one of the things is like it'd be kind of fun, like where different companies advertise. I really want like Redeem, if you could have one company sponsor you right now, like any company in the world, which one would you do? That's solid.
I buy these by the 5 pound in case you need to know about what I do with my life.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I would really love Brooks to sponsor me. I love that. They're a shoe company for people who are not in the States, but they're based in Seattle, and I would love them to sponsor me. When I was looking for a job, my first time go around, I was seeing if I could get a job at Brooks. But sadly, they do not hire in my career field.
What product placement so that I can get a sponsorship?
Wow, Redeem is eating Twizzlers. I have never seen so many red Twizzlers. Hey, Chad, let's go buy Twizzlers right now because of Redeem.
See, it works.
Yeah. I do love Twizzlers. Like my mom was really big, but she was really big into like the string kind and all that. And so when I was a kid, I used to learn how to tie knots in Boy Scouts with Twizzlers.
Nice. And then you can eat your knot.
Yeah, you can eat it. And
that's a win-win.
Yeah. And my kid, I gave him a little bit of Twizzler one time and he spit it out. And I was like, I looked over and I was like, what's the adoption number? I called and I was like, "Hey, are you guys looking for kids?" And they were like, "Sir, we're here to help people adopt kids." I'm like, "Can we return them?" Turns out the answer is no. You can't return kids. I checked, but I wanted to let you guys know. But it was a very sad moment, and I'm also was thinking about getting him DNA tested because he couldn't be my son.
Well, on that note, before we get canceled,
Hey, if this is going to get you canceled, this is your viral moment here, Redeem.
I agree. This clip is going straight to all the socials, the TikToks of the world.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, but you have to do the renegade afterwards. That's kind of the rule. If you do TikTok, you have to do the renegade. If you don't know what renegade is that dance
No,
on
I have no
Fortnite.
idea. Okay.
It's
If you had said gritty, I would have hit the gritty. I know that one.
I'm glad. I know the gritty too. And I'm not sure if I like the gritty. But I know a lot of the fun little stuff like that. But yeah.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here tonight. I think we covered a wide gambit of things. I think there's plenty more we can talk about in the future. I'd like to have you back sometime if that's okay with you.
Yeah, definitely. As long as you're not canceled by then.
We'll see. It's up in the air. We'll see. But
Always
even if
solid.
but I'll let you get out of here if you want to say your goodbyes to everybody, and then I'll close down stream, and then I'll probably hop on and play some Fortnite.
You
for
shouldn't
myself.
close down a stream. You should raid. But thank you so much for people that hopped in here. Bori, thank you so much for hopping in. Nova, thank you so much for hopping in. And Mike, good luck talking to your girlfriend. I think that's super important. And hopefully you guys are building a great relationship. Redeem, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate just getting a chance to talk to you. Hopefully some of you guys learned something new about me. If worst case scenario, if you need to know something new, I shower naked. So we can get that going too.
That's another clip right there. I got it. Yep.
Yeah. Bori, I said Mikey, not Bori. But Bori, you showers your clothes on? Dude, I thought that was a really good idea too. If you put some dishwashing soap on there, you can actually wash your clothes too. If you spin in a circle.
2 birds, 1 stone. Brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. But
All right,
again, thank you so much for having me.
Yep. I will talk to you soon, buddy. Thank you so much. I'm going to let you go and I'll sign off, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
All right, everybody. First and foremost, thank you to Pico. It's been a great, I don't even know, hour and a half that we spent together. Seemed effortless. I know it would. He's such a great guy. I know all of you are following him, but if you're not, correct the mistakes of your life and go follow Pico. You won't be sorry. I am Redeemed. I do this every other Thursday night. We interview streamers. We're always looking for other streamers to interview. You can always hit the DMs if you think you are a good candidate and tell me why. But we're going to continue to do this every other Thursday night at 8 Eastern. The next one will be in 2 weeks. We're going to have, this is the first time I'm announcing this, we're going to have co-owner of Team Pulse, Sire, is going to be on the stream. So I'm really excited about that. So be looking forward to that. But other than that, I play a variety of games on Sunday and Tuesday nights and every other Thursday night. So if you like what you see, you can always come back and check me out. But I appreciate you guys. If I missed any alerts or any chats, I apologize. I really try to focus on the streamer that is with me, so I don't, I value their time is what I'm trying to say. So if I missed it, no, I appreciate you being here, and thank you very much. Pico said something great. We're going to rate out. Unfortunately, I'm on Restream, and I don't know quite how to do it from Restream because I'm actually streaming to quite a few different social media channels right now. So I will get better about that and figure it out. So we aren't going to raid, but thank you. It's been a great time, and I hope I see you again. If you like what you see, you can always hit the follow button. If not, no worries. I'm here to create a community, and I don't want to make anybody feel like they have to be here. But you guys have been great. I love the interaction in chat. We don't always get that every stream, so that's really good. But I always say, remember to take care of yourself. It's important. Remember to take care of those around you. Even a kind word can change someone's day. I love you all. God bless you. I will see you next time. Peace.